Guess who's back? I feel like I need like a little theme song whenever Evil Hilton kicks in. So we have gone in, we've made these changes. I just realized that I think on the Professor Hilton side, I made that change that we made to the master branch. So I'm going to go in and sync the master branch here first. All right, so we've got the master branch, and I'm gonna create this merge conflict with the master branch because that's what I've done on the other side. Even though typically, like I said, we wouldn't want to be working on the master branch together. But we've got all these changes that have come in. I've synced those, pulled those down. Everything's up to date. So I start working on the project. Well, unbeknownst to me, Professor Hilton on the other side is making changes of his own to this index file. And so I'm going to come in here and say, these are the Evil Hilton changes. Okay. And I'll save this to my file, and I'm feeling good about life. I've gone in, I've made a bunch of changes, and now it's time for me to push those changes up. And so I push those changes. Now again, pretend I'm pushing to a branch instead of the master, but that's just what I've done on the other side. So I've pushed those changes up. All right. Now, what's going to happen on the other side? Because if you'll notice, Professor Hilton also made some changes to this file, and we've got to figure out how to resolve that, which we will do as I switch back over to Professor Hilton. Professor Hilton, take it away. Why, thank you, Evil Hilton. So, Evil Hilton made some changes on his end. I'm making some changes on my end. I come in, I take these changes, go over to my Get Changes. I'm going to push these changes up. And everything's looking good. Now I pull the changes down. Oh, I'm already up to date. Now wait a second. So Professor Hilton made some changes, but we aren't seeing... Oh, I never committed. I never committed on the other side. So that's my issue. I was confused there for a second. So in my Evil Hilton side, I'm going to go in and make some commits. The pushes are only pushing the stuff that is waiting in the queue to be pushed, but if it hasn't been committed, it's not going to be pushed. So this is one of those moments where I'm kind of happy as a teacher that I made that mistake to show you we're not going to see anything at that point. And so I need to go in and commit on the Evil Hilton side, which I guess I might as well do in the video. I'm getting pretty good at switching back and forth. So back over to you, Evil Hilton. Why, thank you. So we went in and pushed changes, but the changes that we pushed was stuff that hadn't been committed. Now notice I need to commit these changes that I've made to the index where I've added this Evil Hilton changes. And so I'm going to say Evil Hilton made a bunch of changes. Okay, so that's good. So I commit those changes, and now it shows me that there's one outgoing change, and I can push that change up to the master. All right, so I've made that change up to the master, but now, unbeknownst to me and unbeknownst to him, Professor Hilton is also making changes. And so we'll jump over back to his machine and see what's going on over there. So back on this side, I can see those changes that I made, but I never committed those either. So I'm going to commit those to the master. So Prof. Hilton made a bunch of changes. All right, so I commit that. And now when I go to, this will be a lot less confusing for me. When I go to push these changes, it'll say, oh crap, there's actually some stuff waiting up for you there. And so I say pull then push, and notice the error that comes up. It says, hang on, there were merge conflicts, meaning we had some changes that were made in both places. And so I'm going to come in here, and it's showing me kind of a little preview of that. But I can open my merge editor and look and see what the changes were. Okay, so I can see in this file, Evil Hilton made changes. That was the incoming remote file. But in my current local file, I also made changes. And so it's saying, well, what is the result? What's the resolution? And the resolution currently is to only leave what was in there already. This, hey, I've made massive changes of my own, which is in both files. It's saying I'm going to leave off there, and I'm not going to bring in any of these changes. And so now and if there's multiple changes, by the way, it'll come up here and you can arrow through them and say, you know, what's the next change? What's the next change? What's the next change? But this is a really cool little editor because I can come out here, it scrolls out on both sides at the same time. I mean, this is just slick stuff that makes programming so nice, and particularly programming in teams. We both edited the same file at the same time. Crap. Well, now we can go in and look and see, well, this is what we want to do. This is you know, based on this, what are we going to do? So in this case, I look and I say, well, actually, both of these changes are fine. So I could just include the remote changes, or I could just, now that's saying Evil Hilton, right? Or I could just include the local changes, Professor Hilton, or I could say, actually, both those changes are fine. That's not going to hurt anything to have both of those in there. And so we can incorporate both things in there, and obviously there's, you know, other tools we can go in and look depending on the severity of the conflict. But I hope you understand. I hope you have some good feel and some appreciation for me, you know, walking uphill both ways to school and having to try and do this manually without all these tools. Trying to say, hey, yeah, team member, oh crap, we both built the same class. Well, let's go through line by line and look at it and then copy and paste on two different machines. Just really tough stuff. These are awesome, awesome tools in order for us to be able to resolve conflicts. All right, so I can accept that merge. So after I feel good, I'm going to take both of these changes. I can accept the merge, which will then incorporate that into the file. I can save. I can commit merged changes from Prof. Hilton. Whoa, I'm having trouble capitalizing my last name. And Evil Hilton. And then I can commit those. I see those changes going out. Merge changes there. And now I can do a little sync, which will pull and then push. And it's all incorporated. So this is all the history. Now, that's the last thing I'll just kind of mention with this whole, you know, merge and conflicts and all that kind of stuff. If I ever do something I don't want to, one of the really cool things about source control is that I could come in and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I cleaned up the project and I didn't mean to. And so I can click on this and I can right click and say, I didn't mean to clean up that project. And so I can revert. If I click on this, it's going to revert all those changes back. So picture, I went in and I deleted out that model. I went in and I deleted out the privacy and the, you know, all that part that went along with it. I can go in and look at the commit details and see what actually changed. So again, very, very cool stuff. I can look through and see what was actually deleted and which files were deleted. And I say, oh my gosh, I messed up so bad. I wasn't supposed to go clean up those files. I can right click on this and say revert. And it will say, are you sure you want to do that? Yes, I am. And then it will pop all those files back in that I deleted. And, you know, I can see that model's back. I can see this. We had one other file, but that was a separate delete that I did for that. The error, the changes to the layout file, everything's back the way it was. Very, very, very cool. Now, I can come in again and say, oh my gosh, I reverted that, but I didn't mean to revert it. So I can say, keep the changes that were made, come back into my Solution Explorer, and is that the one? Let's see. Can I revert the revert? Is that what I wanted to do? Revert that revert. All right, that's what I wanted to do. and then we'll get rid of those files again. And so, you know, really, really, really cool stuff. I reverted the revert, that's right, to clean up the project. So just makes programming for us so nice, so helpful to be able to go in and with the history, undo stuff. So even in our own projects, even if we're just working by ourselves, it's helpful to use GitHub to write our program so that we have all these benefits that come in even without working in a team. But working in a team, it's just almost indispensable. You have to have something like this. Well, I guess you don't have to because we did it the old way for a long time, but it sure makes it a heck of a lot nicer. Spencer. Well, before I say that, yeah, Spencer out. Let's go. Spencer out. One more video, but Spencer out.